Nintendo needs to calm down, as I feel like I've been busy every day this week covering some kind of news story, and I woke up this morning once again to two new things, both kind of theme park related, or at least park related. So first up is that we got a new overview trailer for the Switch 2 edition of Mario Wonder and the whole Bella Bella Park expansion, which we'll be talking about soon enough. They tease some fun new things in there that we didn't know about before, but I also want to touch on, more importantly for me at least, and I think maybe you as well, Nick, as we're both theme park fans, is that we got a little more details on what's going on with Pokemon at Universal Studios. In that, they, as you might recall, they first announced this collaboration 4 years ago, back in 2021, or 5 years ago now, I guess. But now we have them teasing a new Pokemon-based attraction. Earlier today, Universal Studios Japan tweeted this: the birth of a new Pokemon experience. Based on the hyper-realistic experience that stimulates all five senses, it brings the Pokemon world to life in an unprecedentedly interactive and rich way. They're currently preparing for its world premiere at Universal Studios Japan, though apparently the full press release also mentioned it'll be coming to Orlando and possibly other locations after that, I believe. So this sounds like it could be a big deal, because up to this point, the only thing Pokemon related at the Japan park, I believe, has been a parade. But this sounds like they're teasing something a little bit bigger, although it doesn't explicitly say a ride. So what are we thinking this could be? Nick, let's start off with you. What are you do you have any thoughts here?
So, worst case scenario, they stick with the parade. Do I want it to be a parade? No. Like, the parade looks cool. I've seen it online, but I think I want it to be something bigger than that.
But would that tease all five? Would that involve all five senses? I don't. That's
no,
the thing.
I don't think it would, unless they're like throwing stuff at you or like physically moving you
just
around, like
bricks at you.
Yeah, like the Pokemon are running up to you and just shaking you.
Small correction though, that's been multiple parades, not just one parade, multiple parades.
Multiple parades.
There we go.
Yeah. So like if they did this as a parade again, it would be kind of a bummer. But the next thing up from that is the 4D live show, or like the roller coaster experience over at Universal Japan. This is unique to that park, and it's not in any other park in the world for right now. And they have like overlays that they do for that ride, which is awesome. So like I think they done one for Final Fantasy. Most recently, they did one for Spy X Hunter, I think it is, or Spy Family. They did one for, so a Pokemon overlay for this ride could be something super simple that they can do. And I hear the lines for this ride are usually packed because, again, they swap it out with whatever's kind of like the big thing at the time. So you can easily put in a Pokemon overlay for this VR roller coaster. But the next thing up from that, it's like, I want it to be an attraction, not only for Japan's sake, but for California's sake and Universal Orlando. Like, I think an attraction for any of these parks is something big and will draw so much more of a crowd out to these places. And there's so much extra space outside of Japan, like in California. I guess I shouldn't say California has this space, but they have
they're
attractions.
landlocked
Yeah, they're landlocked, but they have attractions that we can easily swap out for a Pokemon specific ride or kind of theming. And same thing with Orlando, like specifically Universal Studios in Orlando. Like there's so much of a makeover that park needs right now, especially with Epic Universe kind of towering over it and taking the spotlight from it.
Right, that's a good one. Don, what's your read on this?
First of all, I'm also a theme park fan. Thanks for not mentioning me. Hey, I've been burned by Universal Studios Japan before. This could be another parade.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I don't think it could be, because I don't think they would have announced it like this. And tease an expansion worldwide. So I think, Don, you could put those fears to rest. Now, the thing is, though, that doesn't necessarily mean it's exactly what we'd want it to be. Like, it could be a 4D show, as Nick was talking about. It could be a ride. Or it could just be something similar to the Moana expansion at Epcot, where it's just like a more hands-on exhibit type thing. So is that your fear, Don, that it could be something more like that? Or...
Yeah, for sure. I think it could be one of those interactive experiences where you just see stuff on walls, which Pokemon has done a lot, especially around London and a few other areas. They've done a lot of interactive exhibits, not really attractions. Well, it's attractions in the way that you would go to it, but it's not really an attraction in the traditional sense. I think looking at it from a more positive point of view, if they are doing a traditional ride, either it's like across the 4D ride, which is honestly, it's a really cool ride. I've been on it multiple times, every time with different property, but it's pretty cool. But then it would basically take over that permanently, which I don't know. It feels kind of weird about that. And then my second thought on that would be, it takes over the area now currently emptied by Spider-Man.
Right. So fun fact, that ride closed down 2 years ago to the day. So that does kind of like potentially line up with them finally turning it into something. Though it makes me wonder why they shut it down 2 years ago. They still haven't really started doing anything in that area. But that is making me think, because it has been a rumor that Pokemon was going to be taking over that area. And right now, with this announcement, that further suggests that could be the case. And there have also been rumors that Pokemon would be coming to Universal Studios Orlando, taking over the Lost Continent area, which is kind of like a dead zone right now at the main, or at the Islands of Adventure Park. So this is all, like, timeline-wise, this is all maybe kind of making sense, but that's, you know, not confirmation by any stretch. I will say my initial hesitation, strangely enough, was them hyping up the 5 senses. Because you can't do taste on the ride itself, and that made me think that maybe it's just going to be more of like a really elaborate, like, room. Like, hey, here's a Pokemon room or something, right? But I'm now thinking maybe it means, you know, they're going to have a ride, and then also things beyond the ride, too. Like, almost like a mini land, right? Like, I feel like if they're going to build a whole world, they would have announced that, like a Super Nintendo world. So I don't think we're getting anything that big, but I do think this could be more of like a mini area. Kind of like, actually, the best example might be the Donkey Kong segment at section of Super Nintendo World. Yeah, like a little mini land. You got the ride, you got a couple shops, and you have like a whole, like, you know, mini universe around you. That would be ideal. Now, I don't know how big the Spider-Man area is, Dawn, at
It's basically the front street, which basically is more like a New York street, and then the actual building with a store next door.
Got it. That sounds a little bit similar to how it is in Orlando. So do you think they could, do you think there's room there then, that they could turn that into like a little Pokemon area?
I think they will do it similar to how they still do Jaws, where it has a square in front of it, and then also the ride itself, and then a few stores next to it at Japan. I think that setup would actually learn itself well for a smaller sized Pokemon area.
That'd be amazing. Like, if they actually built like a whole like Pokemon mini land, I think that'd be huge. Especially if there's like a strong ride to go with it. And there have been a lot of rumblings, and who knows how accurate they are or not, that the ride would be some kind of like interactive Pokemon based experience, in the sense that like you're actually like throwing Pokemon out there and having them battle or something to that effect. And I wonder if that's still in the cards. They do say this is interactive, and that is making me think this is more of a ride than a 4D show, because 4D shows typically aren't interactive. So that does give me some hope that this could be the ride we've all wanting it to be. So I don't know if that gives you any ideas, Nick, for what else that could possibly be, or...
So my fear is I hope it's pretty straightforward, that you don't have to ride it multiple times like the Mario Kart ride. I think Nintendo kind of thought the process of that, because even the first time I rode it, I had an idea of what it was like because I watched videos online, but the first time I rode it, I was still a little bit confused. Second time I rode it, I'm like, okay, I get the gist of it now. And the third time, I'm like, okay, I know what to look for, I know how to play it. But for the Pokemon ride, I see it more so like a kind of like a people mover, like Haunted Mansion. Like, I think they're going to keep it somewhat slow. It's not going to be super thrilling. Maybe it's going to be like a Pokemon Snap, where you're like taking pictures of Pokemon, but maybe there is some interactive element to that, where you're actually like throwing stuff at the Pokemon, or you have like, I don't want to say a gun, like something like Midway Mania, like the Toy Story ride. Maybe they put you in like different rooms and you have to catch different Pokemon depending on like which room you go into.
I do think it's more of maybe a guided experience, where you just go through sort of a show building or a show land and go to different interactive areas. That would make a lot of sense to me. I don't necessarily think it would be like something like a roller coaster, for example.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. I agree with you there. I don't think it's not going to be. I think we can already tell. I mean, they want Pokemon to be geared towards everyone, even more so than Mario Kart probably. So I'm not expecting this to be a high-speed thorough ride. I honestly would expect Mario Kart at the top end of things for how fast this could go. And Mario Kart's not a very fast ride, which is kind of ironic given how fast Mario Kart can typically be. I still like the ride. It's not my favorite, but, you know, it's fine. It is what it is. I will say, though, you know, I don't necessarily love interactive rides that they've been made so far. Like, they're kind of fun, but some of them are kind of dumb, too. Like, I think one of the worst rides ever made is a Spider-Man ride at Disney's California Adventure.
I agree.
That ride's god-awful. I don't know what they were thinking there, where it's just like, it feels like a video game. Like, you're just in a video game, but a bad one. And that's what I'm afraid Pokemon can end up being. Now, there are some fun ones, like, you know, Midway Mania is a little bit better. It also still feels very video gamey. Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. My point more is that all these games are shooting games. Could they make an interactive Pokemon ride that is less shooting and more interactive in a different way? You already mentioned taking pictures, possibly. But, like, I'm wondering, could there be an element where you actually are throwing Pokemon out? But then that's kind of it. Like, then they kind of do their own thing. Maybe it's more placement based. Like, hey, can you get your Pokemon near, positioned properly around this character, or this other Pokemon?
I was thinking maybe something like Pokemon Go, because Pokemon Go streamline the whole process of catching Pokemon and battling and everything. So maybe they have that in mind where, like you said, you throw out your Pokemon and then maybe you see them interact. And maybe it is like 3D where you have glasses on and you can see how far they are. I'm thinking, like, you mentioned the interactive dark rides, Andre. I'm thinking, like, Men in Black. Like, I love how over the top that is. You're like, that's ginormous, and that really feels like you're in, like, the city, at least with the first part. So I really hope that they're sticking, even though I don't think they will with animatronics for the Pokemon attraction. Again, like, I think they're going to want as many people on this ride as possible. I think they want to make it as streamlined as possible. So putting on 3D glasses or 4D or whatever, I think that's really where this ride is going to go in that direction. But also to mention, like, where it can go in Orlando, you said, like, the Lost Continent. Yeah, that's been empty space for such a long time now. There's been nothing there. But also the contract for, I want to say, the Simpsons Land, I think it ends in 2028. So that's only, 2 years from now? So that's very soon. And we know who owns The Simpsons is their direct competitor, being Disney. So, like, I think they want The Simpsons out as soon as possible. Again, that's a huge area over in Orlando. That's also a big part of the place over in California. So I think after that, they just want to kind of clear that out. Again, that could be a completely separate ride from the ride that we're getting over in Universal Japan.
That's true, yeah. I mean, they could be different, though. With how Universal has been operating recently, I would think it's probably going to be a clone of whatever they're building in Japan, or like very similar to it. I do say, like, just my gut reaction is Simpsons area feels like a better fit for Pokemon. I'm still latched on to the idea. Apparently this isn't the latest rumors, but those change all the time. But apparently the latest rumor, as I said, is that it'd be going to the Lost Continent. But I feel like that's a better fit for Zelda. You know, I feel like if they retheme that to Zelda, that'd be such an awesome idea. But I guess from apparently Zelda's now being considered for the expansion plot they have at Super Nintendo World of Epic Universe, which I guess also kind of works. But man, I don't know. I really got attached to that Lost Continent idea. But having Pokemon at the main Universal Studios park, that'll be such a shot in the arm to that park, because it's oldest of the three. It kind of needs something new. And I feel like it'd be such a great fit there, and especially with the Simpsons license presumably, expiring soon. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Nick. It all just kind of makes way too much sense. So,
and not to mention, I don't know if you saw this, Andre, but they're also, I think they announced it this week as well, that they're shutting down the Fast and Furious ride over at Universal Orlando. So they're getting rid of that, and they're replacing a roller coaster now. Yeah,
I take that back.
It just looks terrible.
This ride's way worse than the Spider-Man ride at California Adventure. My God. Hey, been on this thing, Don?
On the Fast and Furious ride?
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
no,
good.
no,
you don't need to be.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Like I've only been to the one in Hollywood in Japan, to be honest. So.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So, any other thoughts on what else this could be before we kind of move on to Mario Wonder here?
Yeah, I just hope that it is something that is thrilling for all of us. I hope it's something that we haven't seen before. Like, they can easily, again, do an overlay for something. I really hope they take advantage of the IP and it actually wants me to go to Universal Japan and not just be like, hey, like, I can watch this online. I get the gist of it. I'm good. So I really hope there is some kind of thrills or something that I can't do at home. Like you said, Andre, with the Spider-Man ride, it's like, it's just a video game. I can do this at home. So, like, why do I need to pay all that money to go out to to Disney in California to experience that ride?
Right. If it's an interactive ride, I don't hope like it's like Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, because I like it, but it also feels really over-engineered as an interactive experience.
Yeah.
I actually do agree with that. Like, when I first envisioned a Mario Kart ride, I envisioned something more fast and fun rather than interactive, right? And I kind of think they kind of focused on the wrong element of Mario Kart. Like, I don't think a Mario Kart is a shooting game, so it's kind of weird that they turned it into one. I still enjoy it. I still think it's pretty cool. It is probably, I don't know why I forgot about it earlier when I was mentioning all the shooting rides. Maybe that's a point in its favor. Like that my ride didn't come to mind. I was thinking of some of the more weaker interactive shooting rides, but that one does go a step beyond. But at the same time, it's kind of held back by what it is. And but I guess for Pokemon, something of that nature might be a better fit if they can figure out how to make it work. I was thinking more about this, like how cool would it be? I think there's two angles they could go with this. One, where in the line for the ride, you actually choose your starter Pokemon. They got like a whole pre-show where Professor Oak comes out, everyone chooses their own starter Pokemon, and that's who you have as you go through the ride battling other Pokemon. Or it could be the opposite, where you have to go out, well, I guess you need Pokemon anyway, but it could be more battle-focused regardless, is more my point, where, well, I guess, actually, no, to your point, Nick, they could go the Pokemon Go route, where you're trying to collect as many Pokemon as possible, where you just throw Pokeballs out at them. So there is that angle, too. I think both could be interesting, and that could lead to some really fun, like, either souvenirs or maybe you can buy a plush or a toy based on the Pokemon you had, or they can have fun pictures throughout where your Pokemon's with you on the ride, like, inserted into the picture. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of potential there, so.
I don't want to say it, but after the Power Up Band, we now have the Power Up Pokeball.
Oh, well,
Oh
I
my
think
God.
they're definitely going to do that, especially
Yep.
if it is an interactive ride, because Spider-Man over in California for Disney, I think you can buy, like, an upgraded...
You
like,
can.
Yeah, right? So, like, they're definitely going to have an upsale on, like, a
Oh,
Pokeball. Like, this one
no.
allows you to catch Pokemon faster or something like that.
They're gonna make so
Oh,
much money
no.
off this. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, despite that, I am excited for this. Really want to see what they end up making here. I hope it actually ends up being a dark ride. I'll be intrigued to find out whatever it ends up being. But if it just ends up being like an interactive zone or something, that'll be kind of weak. I need a full ride with some, other fun activities around it. Again, I think like a mini Super Nintendo World / DK area, I think would be a perfect fit for Pokemon. So let's hope it happens. Any final thoughts before we move on?
No,
I'm excited for this. Again, I hope when they show concept art for it that it doesn't, like, exceed my expectations, because that happened multiple times with Universal. Like, when I saw the Mario Kart ride concept art, I was like, oh, like, there's people waiting in queue, and you can see people racing, and I'm like, it looks so fast from that artwork. And same thing with the Transformers ride. Like, when I saw concept art for that, like, you saw the actual Transformers. They looked like they were, like, actual props, but it was just a 4D, 3D experience. So again, like,
I'll defend that ride. I like that ride. I think it's a good ride.
No. I get nauseous on Transformers.
Okay, well, I can see that, yeah. It's not quite Spider-Man, but I still think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
The original Universal Spider-Man, not the crappy Disney version.
Universal Spider-Man was absolute a goat attraction at
Yeah, it
Universal,
was.
and it's a damn shame that it's now gone everywhere.
That's why if Pokemon is taking its place, it better be good. It's got big shoes to fill there, big Spider-Man shaped shoes, and I hope that they can do it. So
I was at the last couple of months of that ride, man. I had so many. I enjoyed it so much. Like, experiencing it again because it was licensed to other European parks because Universal wasn't here in Europe.
right.
And now
Well-
seeing it for one more time was actually felt very thrilling.
Well, Don,
good
if you
news
ever
for
make
Don.
it to the US, they still have it over in Orlando. So
That's
the
right.
OG, the original one.
For how long?
I think forever,
For now.
because that contract is indefinite. That Marvel contract.
Yeah, it's so funny, the whole contract breakdown.
Yeah.
where basically, as long as Universal keeps it in their parks, Disney can't use it in their own at Disney World, which is hilarious. And they actually just updated their ride a few years ago. I
did.
imagine the one in Japan had it too, where the CG got a massive upgrade. So it's probably gonna be sticking around for a little while, Don. So you should definitely check out next time you're in Orlando, which may not be anytime soon. But
No.
in any case, let's move on to the other kind of theme park news, or at least park news, being the overview trailer we got for the Switch 2 edition of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which includes Bella Bella Park. And it talked about some new features, gave us a little bit more information about the games, how, like, the whole park is split up into two. And this is where they kind of lost me a little bit. Let me touch on the highlights. So they touched on how there's now, like, a Luma character you can play as in addition to Rosalina. The Luma is more of like a co-op or like a helper character where you can use a mouse control even move him around. Sorry?
Co-star.
Co-star, thank you, yeah.
That's Nintendo's official term for that. Co-star.
That's pretty great. Co-star?
Yeah.
That's actually pretty
Yeah.
brilliant, yeah. They touched on more about the Koopalings, how you have to go like look for them in the main game, it sounds like, and we saw a crazy transformation of Wendy turning into a Cheep Cheep, which is hilarious looking. Mario got a new power-up. I had its official name. I don't know where it is right now, but apparently you can use it to throw flowers around. We don't know fully what that does. Yeah, crazy. But then also they explained, and this is where they kind of lost me a little bit. So the plaza itself is split into two. And the downside of this is one half is online, that's fine. The other half is local only. And that bums me out because as an adult, I'm not going to be playing, sadly, the local plaza too often. But I just don't hang out with my friends that play games locally too often. So if I were a kid, it'd be amazing, I feel like, because a lot of the games look fun. I won't be able to play them that often, and that bummed me out because only half of it's online. So what do you guys think of this, though, overall?
It's not even half. It's 6 attractions out of the 23.
Oh wow, that's. Oh wait, sorry. Half. Oh wait, only 6 are local, is what you're saying, or 6
No,
are
6
online?
are only online, and 17 are.
Oh my
all
God.
local.
Oh, whoa.
That is really weak. Yeah, that's really weak.
Yeah.
That
well,
kind of.
well, to be fair, there's also local game share and local on one television, but still local.
Right, still local all the same. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, I was gonna say, just hearing that news, I didn't get that from my first watch from the trailer. That seems to damper the experience because just like you, Andre, I'm mostly just playing games online with friends. Like, if I
Right.
want to play this, and that was my big point, like my selling point to at least my friends, like, oh guys, we can play all these different mini games, but if it's only 6, I might tell them just to skip it. It might just not be enough for us to do online.
Yeah. So they specifically mentioned 2 plazas. One is called, funny enough, the local multiplayer plaza,
Yep.
which has 17 attractions for co-op and versus play and game share supported. Then the game room plaza is where you can play locally and online, and up to 12 people through online, and there's only 6 of them.
What else concerns me about the online rooms too, the online games, from what I saw, the online lobby, is that it looks like it looks more passive. Like everyone's in ghost form, I think, still, so you're not directly interacting. And that's what I miss from the classic 2D Mario multiplayer experiences, where they were interactive, you know, whether in the new games or the competitive modes in some of those games. And I feel like they're kind of, for me personally, I lost interest watching this trailer. Like, I think if I were a kid and had a bunch of local friends, it'd be a lot of fun, I'd be having a blast. But as an adult, I'll probably dabble around with it once or twice, and then I'll probably almost never touch it again because I don't think those really appeal to me. But I could be wrong, you know? Maybe it'll be a lot of fun. But I think I lost some enthusiasm, even though I was more hyped up for it earlier this year.
No, that's 100% fair. I think the main focus with, even if they supported online game share, it would have been a completely different story to me, because at least then we would connect for game chat and we play a bunch of these games.
Right.
But now it's locked to local game share, which means you can only, if you want to play with people far away, it's only like 6 experiences and they're sort of passive. Which I think the local multiplayer plaza is the more interesting of the two. The fact that you cannot play them with anywhere else outside of local play, regardless of how you play it, is a bit of a bummer.
Yeah, like everything in the first trailer that I thought looked cool, I now know was part of the local multiplayer. I'm like, ah, darn it, that sucks, you know? And I just wonder, I guess the online connection just wasn't strong enough for Nintendo, or I don't know why they couldn't get it to work. I mean, I wish that they found a way, or at least give us the option to use it, even if it doesn't work great, you know? I mean, Mario Party works online, why couldn't this work as well? I don't understand it. There's probably some technical reason for it, maybe Nintendo cheaping out. I don't know. Whatever the case is, that did dampen my hype. But I will say, overall, as a package, it still looks pretty good. It does feel a little bit jumbled, you know, like it just feels like a lot of random crap thrown in there, but a lot of it does look fun, including the new Koopaling stuff I mentioned.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious to see what forms the other Koopalings are going to take now. Presumably they all have their own Wonder form, which really does change, you know, what have been pretty standard boss fights for them over the years. Like, this is really going to change them up. So no more complaints about them feeling the same. They're all going to be totally different.
To be fair, I said this before, my main criticism of Wonder is that the boss fights were, for the most part, kind of stale.
This fixes it.
Yeah.
I hope the final form for the Koopalings is all of them attached together. Like, they just look deformed or
giant
something.
monstrosity.
Yeah.
I don't think that they are more scattered across like existing worlds, which means we won't have many unique setups to them. Towards the Bellabelle flowers, which I do think is a slight bummer. I'm still excited to play more Wonder. It's a very good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. We still don't fully know how they fit in. Like, we know you have to go on some kind of, like, search for them. They're apparently, like, hiding around, I assume, one of the each main worlds. But the question is, like, is there only, like, one stage for each of them? Or is there more to it? The trailer did have a character that says something to the effect of, like, the forest feels a little bit different now. So I do wonder if maybe there's, like, each level's changed in some way.
That would be cool.
That would be cool, right? Like, if you're effectively replaying through a big chunk of the game, that would add a lot of longevity to it. You know, that'd actually be a really good value, actually.
For sure,
Yeah.
I think something we missed on, which I'm actually excited about, because, again, I 100% of the game, and I still want to go back and play it, especially with the Koopaling stuff, but is the Toe Brigade, like, training camp. We didn't touch up on. And it reminds me something like the challenges from like Mario Run on just mobile devices. They seem like pretty straightforward, where it's like, hey, like collect these coins in a certain amount of time, defeat enemies in a time. Like, they seem like all these cool time challenges that give a little bit more replay to the older game.
You know, what it reminds me even more of is the challenges they had in New Super Mario Bros. U.
Oh,
New
yeah.
Super Bros. U. Yeah, they had a whole challenge mode.
Yeah.
And some of them were actually pretty fun. So I was wondering, like, how much I'd be compelled to play these, considering, I've already played through the whole game, but some
Yeah.
of them did look pretty interesting. Like there's the one where you're on a ball
Yeah.
bouncing around, and that could be cool.
Ja, ik
so
kom,
I
over
could see
5
myself
minuten
getting
kom ik
addicted to
ernaartoe.
them as I did with the
Okay,
new Super Mario Bros.
you-
U challenges. Like I actually think I like those more than the main game. So maybe that'll be the case here too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else, Don, that stood out to you about the Bella Bella Park expansion?
I mean, the Toad Brigade stuff also looks really interesting, where you have different challenges in the main adventure. And if you already want to complete the adventure, basically all the missions are already unlocked for you. So
Right.
basically, it's also a new way of re-experiencing stages
Yeah.
you've played before.
Yeah, no, that all looks good. So, yeah, I'm curious to see like how this actually feels as a final product. But it does feel a little bit jumbled right now, and knowing so much of it is locked to local only is disappointing. But I'm hoping that there's still enough there to warrant buying, even for those who will be playing mostly online or maybe even single player. I do
I
realize-
still, I still feel that I will have fun in local play. I still have people over now and again, especially now. I have a lot of younger cousins. They can play as a Luma, which is very fun.
Yeah.
Or they can try,
Heck yeah.
or they can try the assist mode, which means that everybody has like a sort of an entry point while playing the
Right.
game if they come over, which I'm very high on. I really like that. Also, for me, I will play as Rosalina for most of it, so I will be happy as well. I think as a package, it's actually not bad. I think for people who don't play outside of the bubble of a local play, it will be really uninteresting to them, and that's fine. For the majority, though, like stages wise, I think we have to see. We have not seen all of it yet.
Do we know? I don't think they showed in the trailer, but in the main game, if you play as like Nabbit or Yoshi, it's basically like an easy mode. Do we know how those characters are going to interact in multiplayer? Because I always wanted to play as Yoshi in the single player, but I wanted a little bit more of a challenge. So I was hoping that they would have a badge where it's like, oh, like you take damage no matter what character you play as. So like if we're playing multiplayer and someone picks Yoshi, it's like you're just not going to take any damage. You're just going to be invincible. Like, did they say anything about that or no?
They did not say anything about that. Yeah, now that they have the built-in assist mode, it would make sense to make Yoshi more of a default character. Because I agree with you. I want to play as Yoshi, but, it just made the game way too easy. And to that point, I actually was a little bit disappointed that Rosalina is just acting like as any of the other characters. I was kind of hoping she would have her own unique playstyle, a la Yoshi or a la Dixie that just got added to DKCR HD for free. So the fact she's just a skin is a little bit disappointing. Still good to have, but yeah.
Do you guys recall her ability in Super Mario 3D World? Like, how did she play in that game?
Yeah, she could spin. She could actually spin and
That's
attack
what she did,
enemies. Yeah.
Right, she should be able to spin here too. Where are the spins at? Twirl toward freedom.
I think they didn't do it because all the characters act the same.
Except for Yoshi.
Yeah, except for Yoshi.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like all the characters act the same, and I think they need to keep them all in line to be the same. Which makes sense. It's sort of disappointing, but it makes sense.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. Like, yeah, it's. I'm not heartbroken over it. I just wish they would. Like, if she made the game play differently, that could be an incentive to replay the game. But if it's just a skin, it's like, I mean, I'll play as her when I'm playing around in other modes.
Also, they're making 3 new random amiibo.
Oh yeah. Not even with the launch of the game, but with the Switch 2 edition, which I don't think we've seen yet, right? Like Mario Party Jamboree Switch 2 edition or Kirby and the Forgotten Land, they didn't get Amiibo. But with this one, since this is already a pre-existing Switch 1 game, it's the first time that we're getting Amiibo for the new Switch 2 edition.
That's kind of wild. They also put out a new trailer for that talking flower toy earlier today. Yeah. And I'm like, this thing is going to annoy me endlessly.
Yeah, what does it even do? I thought it was almost like an alarmo, but it's not. It
can act as an alarm.
Okay.
But otherwise, it just talks randomly throughout the day. Based
Twice
on the
per
time
hour.
of day. Yeah.
Twice
per hour. That's right.
Yeah.
So you could just be like, you could be going to the bathroom and hearing the flower talk to you from a room over, and like, that would be a little disturbing, I think.
Yeah, the flower's gonna be like, what's taking
there?
you so long in there? Like, just give me privacy. Like, come on.
Chill out, flower, alright? Anyways, I can see it being a fun little thing. For fun, I tried to click through to the store to see if there was a price announced for it. I don't know if there was already, but the official store link was broken for me from Nintendo. It just didn't load, so I'm like, alright, I guess I'm not picking up the flower even if I wanted to, so... Alright, anything else at all about this expansion that we want to touch on, guys, before we wrap it up here?
No, I think we got it, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm shocked that I'm shocked and not shocked at the same time that this was announced this week with all the random Nintendo announcements. It just makes me
That's
think
so
like, how
much.
soon are we going to get like an actual
Oh,
direct? Because I
actually-
was thinking. Go ahead, Andre.
No, go ahead, continue, please.
I was going to say, because I really thought that the end of March, because Nintendo loves slotting a release date for a game that time, I thought it was going to be the Yoshi game, because they did say spring, but it makes sense having this right before the Mario movie, so the Yoshi game might come in like April or May, like shortly after the movie. But again, it makes you think, like, when's the direct coming? Like, and it shows that they're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about, because they easily could have talked about the Donkey Kong stuff there. They easily could have talked about the release date there. They could have easily talked about more Mario Tennis there with the overview trailer. But yeah, it seems like they have a lot to talk about now.
So we have the release date, as I mentioned, is March 26th, which is literally a week before the Mario movie, which makes so much sense because that's just going to juice sales for the game once the movie comes out. It's a pretty smart timing. But also, to your point, this is like, this actually makes me more hyped for the direct. Like, they're getting out all the kind of minor stuff now, I feel like, which means they're going to hopefully save the big guns for the Switch 2, for the next big Switch 2 direct, which has to be coming in the near future, by February. I think the rumor right now going on is early February, which makes sense. I think it lines up with their history. And like that makes me happy because I wouldn't want to spend 5 minutes with Mario Wonder in the direct, So I'm like, okay, I'm glad they're getting this out of the way. Mario Tennis Fever won't be a big focus there either. It may already be, just about out at that point. So I think we're gonna get a lot of big announcements there, hopefully. So, all right. Anything else, guys?
Nope. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm excited for this DLC. I'm excited for the Pokemon Park, whatever experience we're gonna get at Universal, and I'm excited for the next direct.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Can't wait. All right, well, and once that gets announced, we'll be there talking, predicting, and live streaming it all and everything, everyone. So with that, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to GameXplain for more on everything we just talked about eventually. Although Pokemon may be years away, sadly, at Universal Studios. I wish it'd be sooner, but that's just how theme park announcements go. Unless it's some really small, disappointing, like, single-room experience. In which case, it may be sooner than not. But with that, we'll catch you later, everyone. Have a good one. Oh, real quick. Don, where can people follow you at if they want to follow you for more?
You can follow me at Nintendo, that's NENTNDAAN. Follow me there because I will be on Japan, so a lot of posts on there.
Heck yeah. I'll be following you for the Japanese post. And how about you, Nick? Where can people follow you at?
Yeah, you can follow me on my personal YouTube channel. That's Steftendo, STEFTNDO. Go check it out.
All right, with that, everyone, thanks for watching. We'll catch you later. Bye.